Imagine a life on your time. Imagine waking up when you say it's time to wake up. Imagine going to bed when you say it's time to go to bed. Imagine generating enough income to where, hey, you don't feel like cooking tonight? All good. Just order some DoorDash or maybe go to a nice restaurant. And on top of that, you don't even got to worry about the bill. You're the type of guy who gives out like 25, 30% tips to the waiters. And you do this because you can do whatever the heck you want to do. It's your life, your schedule. You are your own boss. You are your own authority. But now think about it. Would this actually be the most beneficial way to live? Like, really think about that. That's a genuinely good question. We all want to live a life of freedom, but is it okay to have too much freedom? So kicking it off right away with number one, if you want to do whatever the heck you want to do, you got to first create boundaries. Now, I know this totally contradicts the whole title of this video, but when it comes to doing whatever the heck you want, there's two different versions of this idea. Most of society thinks doing whatever the F you want to do means going out, living the moment, partying, hooking up with chicks, drugs, just self-indulgence. Now, if you want to live that kind of lifestyle, you might feel free in the moment, but eventually that always, every time, it leads to bondage, pain, suffering, and ultimately poverty. You talk to any crack addict on the street, it's always the same story. Drugs, partying, women, sex, hooking up. They all just did whatever the heck they wanted, right? It's wild, bro. I can always spot out a pervert from like a mile away. You know, the type of guy who just has no boundaries. It's pretty easy because they always do the same thing. It just happened 5 days ago when I was in the airport with my wife. This dude, he just can't stop staring at my wife. He can't stop staring at her booty. I was standing there looking at him like this, and then he even looked at me. We made eye contact, and then he looks back at my wife's butt again, and I'm like, yo, bro, come on, my guy. And this is how most men live their lives, bro. And this is their version of just doing whatever the F they want. They don't have any care in the world. They set no boundaries, and they think they're free, right? But in actuality, they're really in bondage. They can't stop. This dude could not even help himself looking at my wife, right? And then looking at all the other ladies walking by. And then on the other side of the spectrum, this isn't only just exclusive to guys who deal with lust, but then you also have guys who are addicted to maybe anxiety, who are addicted to fear. In recent years, I was addicted to hateful comments, right? So then I had to set my own boundaries recently because I had a problem, you know, like whenever I was looking through your guys' comments, I would notice myself always trying to look for the hateful ones, right? For some reason, it's just some weird addiction. Like I was almost like looking for a fight. And so I had to set a new boundary to where I don't even look at comments, period, whether they're good or bad. I set a specific time once a week to look at them, like for 20 minutes on the weekend, so that way I can reply back to, you know, you guys who do show me love and support. But other than that, all those other days, I just totally avoid it. I set up those boundaries because I don't trust myself. I'll start immersing myself into all these hateful comments. I get all distracted, off track of my purpose. But now since I've done that, now since I've set up those boundaries, now I feel liberated. I feel free now. So hey, you gotta analyze your own life. You may have a social media addiction. You may have an eating addiction. You may be feeling like you're living wild and free, you know, just stuffing your face, doing whatever you want, but really you're in bondage. You're in shackles. You cannot stop. It's like the king of a castle. Imagine if the king said, hey, let's take down our walls. I declare that today, everybody can just do whatever the heck they want to do. Intruders can come on in. They can hang out with us. Hey, knights, guards, hey, don't even worry about protecting the kingdom. Hey, if you want to take the rest of the month off, go right ahead. Take some of my horses, take some of my women, go out, get drunk with them, have fun. You just go out, live wild and free, and you can come back whenever. I'll see you when I see you. Imagine if that happened. That kingdom is gonna go up in flames. It's gonna be conquered within the next 12 hours. Boundaries are vital to freedom. When a kingdom has walls, when it has guards, when it has protection, when it has laws, when it has rules, now all the people can roam around safely within the kingdom without having to worry about the enemy coming in and attacking. Number two, know yourself. You gotta know yourself. You gotta know your core values. You gotta know what you are about. I remember I went to this seminar one time about 10 years ago, and the motivational speaker said, all right, on the count of 3, I want you to all say your name. And he said, 1, 2, 3, Dre. And then he said, okay, now on the next count of 3, I want you to say, and I am about 1, 2, 3. And the whole room was silent. Everybody's like, I don't really know what I'm about. I don't really know myself. And so, hey, look, as a man, you gotta be so crystal clear about this. You have to know yourself. You gotta know what you are about, your core values. For me personally, I know one thing's for sure. I stick to God's values. I stick to the Christ-like values. Basically everything that's opposite of culture's values, culture standards, right? I put my identity in that. I put my identity in God. Therefore, I'm free of the chains of addiction. I'm free of the chains of doubt, of anxiety, because I put all my trust in Him. And because of this also, I'm free, I'm liberated of having to fall in line and follow all culture's stupid, ridiculous standards. Like, I never even had to immerse myself into hookup culture because I knew my core values. I wasn't about that. I wasn't about all the modern day ways of hooking up and dating. To me, that's all just like bondage. That's just so complex and complicated, bro. I went the opposite route. And by dating girls that were like-minded, that were, Christ first, that was nice, bro. It made things simple. I didn't have to worry about all the corruption and infidelity and all the cheating that you have to deal with in hookup culture. And now that kind of leads me into number 3. Reflect on what you don't like. It's one thing to know what you do like, but you also need to understand and fully know what you don't like. To really know yourself, you need to identify the things that you don't like, the things that you don't even like about yourself, the things that you don't like about others, the things that you don't like about the world, the things that you don't like about culture. Even think about the things like the type of lifestyle that you don't like. Think about the places you don't want to live, the types of people you don't want to hang out with. Be fully aware of the things that you do not like, that you do not want to affiliate yourself with. Most guys don't think about this. That's why they get all mixed up in the wrong groups of people. They get mixed up in toxic relationships. Most people do not identify what they don't like, and then that results in them being in bondage to it. And then they think to themselves things like, well, whatever, I guess this is just my lifestyle. This is just what it is. They never identified the fact that they don't like being poor. So therefore, I guess I'm just poor. I guess I'll just never be wealthy then. They never identified the fact that they don't like feminist type chicks. So therefore they get into a super toxic relationship and they just think to themselves, I guess it's just what life dealt me with. I guess this is just the type of girl that I gotta be with. Number 4, don't skip making mistakes. Now, say what you want about Star Wars The Last Jedi Episode 8. Even me, I'm a little on the fence about that movie, but one part of the movie in there, one scene that was so powerful is when Yoda, I believe he's talking to Luke, and he says,
"The greatest teacher failure is."
That part right there, that was fire. That was worth all your gas money, ticket money, everything. When you avoid mistakes, this is how you actually get caught in culture's little algorithm. If they can invoke fear in the masses, if they can invoke fear in you, that's lucrative, bro. Now they're making money off of you. Now they got you. Oh, you're feeling a little bit sad? You're feeling depressed? Oh, you shouldn't feel depressed. You need to work on your mental health. Hey, maybe you should go to a doctor on a regular basis. We'll prescribe you some medication. This is why they say things like, you need to go to college. Make sure you get a secure job, right? Make sure you can go through the system and all this and that. And it's like, hey, look, listen, bro. Ain't nothing in life certain. Your future is never 100% secure. So, hey, look, circling back here, mistakes are okay. Going through a season of sadness, going through a season of failure, frustration even, it's okay. You don't need to go to a doctor and get prescribed medication for it. So don't avoid it. Don't avoid mistakes. Don't avoid risk. There's risk with everything in life. Even going the secure college route. I mean, would you rather go that route? Going to school for 5-10 years and then working a job for 20 years and then maybe potentially being replaced by some new AI technology? Or would you rather live with risk, working for yourself, building up multiple streams of income, having a little bit of backup? If this business, say the worst of the worst happens, it fails, hey, you still got this business. Number 5, become a reader. Now, your goal right now in this time of your life is to never, ever, ever utter the words, "I'm just not a reader," ever again, bro. That can never come out of your mouth. That right there, that's such a juvenile mindset. That's immaturity at its finest. And that right there also is just proof that you're like a dopamine addict. You can't even sit down for longer than just a few minutes to read a couple pages. I mean, this is what we did as men for thousands and thousands of years, bro. And hey, look, my guy, like every man needs a mentor. And of course, these days, having a mentor, that's just not like readily available like it used to be, right? It's hard to find someone that's older than you, that's wise, that can give you wisdom. So if you don't have a mentor, hey, this will replace that. You must at all costs connect with authors. You got to connect into these guys. This is the number one thing that most men are not doing, especially like this Gen Z degenerate generation. Especially, I know there's a lot of young guys watching this channel. I don't mean to put down your generation, but it is what it is. This generation, even mine, like the millennials, are just stupid, flat out dumb, just noodle brains, bro. And on top of that, it's cool. It's literally cool to be stupid these days, which is just, my brain can't even fathom that. And to finish this off, I heard this quote the other day. It said, "It's not about doing your best, it's about doing what's required." And reading is one of those things that is absolutely required. And number 6, the last one, understand that struggle is useful. I had this dude who commented me, or maybe he emailed me the other day, and was just talking about how he just turned 16 and how all of a sudden he feels this great amount of pressure, of responsibility now. And it's just funny because I was kind of like giggling, I was chuckling. I was like, bro, you feel that now? Bro, you're just scratching the surface. This is just the beginning, my guy. And it's wild because a lot of young dudes, they want success so badly, but they don't understand that with success comes lots of stress. At the end of the day, success, it ain't free, that's for sure. And the more success that you get, I mean, yeah, it's nice, don't get me wrong, but your stress also 10x's every time. That's why there's that whole like quote, be careful what you wish for, right? Because you just might get it. This is why you see celebrities like all the time. They get all this success super quick, they shoot up to the top, and then they like start going freaking crazy. You got people like Britney Spears who go out and just shave their head and start hitting cars with things, and then we all laugh, we all point fun, and it's actually kind of sad, really, because it's like, you know what? That's not freaking funny, bro. You have no idea what that person's going through mentally. It's actually pretty sad. And if you were in their shoes, you might do the same thing. You might actually do something probably even worse. Anyways, I don't mean to go like on this whole other tangent, but at the end of the day, this is why struggle is useful. This is why you don't want to skip that step, right? You don't want to be like one of those whack rappers that accidentally stumbles upon success and has one hit song, and then once they get to the top of the radio charts, now they don't know what the heck to do. Right? Because they actually didn't really work for it, right? Like they kind of did. They were messing around with some songs, but now they don't know how to keep that success, and then everything's just downhill from there. It's like, no, if you actually go the other route where it's like struggle over the years, and you know, you have a little bit of progress, but then you fall flat, and back, you know, you kind of like do this thing, but then over the years, you're just steadily progressing, right? That right there, you get to learn all this knowledge and wisdom through all the little ups and downs. And then once you finally do reach to the top, now you got all this wisdom, you got all this growth, all this mental and physical fortitude to back everything up. You built that foundation, right? All that struggle that you went through, oh, it's so useful, because now all that did was just breed experience. You got like all these experience points, right? And that's what struggle does. Struggle breeds the groundwork, it breeds the foundation. Struggle breeds life lessons that you'll literally now take with you for the rest of your life. So hey, don't waste your struggle. Don't try to skip it. Don't try to avoid it. Even like me here on this channel, a lot of the stories that I share with you guys about my life, it's always my struggling moments, right? And that's the stuff that builds this channel up. That's the stuff that you guys want to hear. That's the stuff that you guys relate to. And if I always like stayed indoors all the time, I didn't go out, I never risked anything, I didn't, you know, go out and talk to women, like I wouldn't have any of these cool stories to share with you guys, and you guys would have nothing to relate to if I didn't actually go out and step out of my comfort zone and just face failure head on. So hey, with that said, thumbs up if you dug today's video. Be sure to hit the notifications button to be informed when I drop a new one, and check out this video right here. It's powerful, and I'll catch you in the next vid. Peace always.